Tzu Chi hosts a special performance to celebrate 30th anniversary of its recycling mission. In Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteers help clear out the cluttered home of an elderly man. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Let's get started. Tzu Chi hosted a 30th anniversary for its recycling mission at Hualien Jing Si Hall recently. The ceremony traced Tzu Chi's environmental path, saw a performance from Tang Meiyun Taiwanese opera troupe. Here's more.
The 30th anniversary of Tzu Chi environmental protection started with the lively environmental protection dragon dance. Volunteers from all over Taiwan and even Penghu joined the 30th environmental protection ceremony via the internet, and the EPA minister also came to the venue.
Many international politicians come to Taiwan to visit our Tzu Chi recycling stations. We do not just talk about how much we recycle, but most importantly, to realize what the master suggested, turning garbage into gold and turning gold into love.
Tang Meiyun Taiwanese opera troupe demonstrated that the environment is facing global warming and a garbage crisis, and human desire and environmental conservation are competing with each other. Master Zheng Yan called for recycling with applauding hands 30 years ago. The first recycling volunteer continues to do recycling until now.
More than 30 years ago, we had 5 women only. They recycling from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. Now there are more than 20 recycling stations in Changhua City. Environmental protection has actually become a part of our lives.
Environmental protection has been integrated into daily life. Volunteers even attended their children's wedding banquets without spending a lot on clothing, just wearing second-hand dresses and necklaces.
Because of the affinity we met on the marriage day, our in-laws have been certified to Tzu Chi volunteers now. This is our in-law's mother, and her son are now being trained. This is my daughter-in-law, all because of doing recycling.
Volunteers turn garbage into useful items. For example, they reassembled discarded pots and gave the bicycle a new life. They removed the umbrella cloth from discarded umbrellas and made it into picnic mats, handbags, etc. The United Environmental Protection Catwalk demonstrated volunteers' wisdom in using sustainable resources.
Taiwan 无以为报啦，就是环保。善的爱呢为宝啦，真正是真感恩菩萨啦！现在真正是环保，清净在源头啦，清流绕全球。
好来，哇 Can you see it? This old Bodhisattva Taiwan is already 102 years old and can still bend down to pick up recyclables. Other volunteers on the same stage are all over 90 years old. They are good at doing recycling, which is the best secret for their longevity.
Master Zheng Yan, we fought to do recycling until my last breath.
Regardless of men, women, and children, more than 80 million volunteers worldwide have been mobilized to practice environmental protection. After doing recycling for 30 years, it is hoped to enforce cleanliness at the source and saves lives continuously.
敬师弟子，环保志工，不管上人说什么，我们一定会。
In Taiwan, Tzu Chi's global recycling camp has been held since August 22nd. Due to the pandemic, overseas Tzu Chi volunteers participate through video conference. On-site participants were required to wear face masks and wash their hands. Take a look.
Tzu Chi Global Recycling Camp has been held, attended by recycling volunteer leaders in Taiwan. Due to the pandemic, overseas volunteers participate through video conferencing, and on-site volunteers also follow epidemic prevention measures.
Camp participants and team leaders have to sign family agreements. In addition, we have to wear face masks and wash our hands frequently.
To ensure no one suffers from health issues, everyone is given a bookmark. As one places on a forehead on 15 seconds, a special number appears.
It shows 3 temperatures, 36, 37, and 38. It is 36 now, right? It shows 3 numbers. It does not matter if it shows 36 or 37. If it shows 38, one has a fever.
Tzu Chi volunteers have promoted environmental protection at a floral expo. Therefore, the recycling camp has invited such volunteers to share how they grew from working as recycling volunteer leaders and planning activities.
Some expo attendees said that they did not know environmental protection is so important until they came to the expo. They realized they were a garbage producer as well, and said when they go home, they will get rid of their bad habits.
We have only one goal. We hope after people return to their communities, they can inspire community residents, children, or seniors.
Over the course of 3 days, the recycling camp is held at the Hualien Jing Si Hall. The camp aims to inspire senior volunteers to reaffirm their initial aspirations. Through participant sharing, the camp organizer also hopes to raise more people's environmental awareness.
Recycling is now a daily activity for many Tzu Chi volunteers. According to data from 1995 to 2019, the total weight of Tzu Chi's recycled paper is equivalent to more than 2,800 20-year-old trees. Many say this is a Taiwan miracle. At present, most large residential buildings have various garbage recycling bins to help residents sort recyclables. However, do you know what the first generation of recycling bins in Taiwan looked like? These recycling bins, which were imported from the Netherlands, were officially used in 1989. The first minister of the Environmental Protection Administration, Eugene Chen, specially hosted a naming contest attracting 600,000 elementary school students to participate.
We made a commitment to education from childhood to adulthood. In other words, we started teaching from childhood about how to sort recycling.
However, the concept of resource recycling was not popular at that time, coupled with other unfavorable factors such as the size of the containers and high cost of manufacturing and cleaning, led them to be completely eliminated in 1993. More than 30 years have passed. Elementary school students who named these recycling containers have entered middle age, and Taiwan's recycling concepts have greatly improved. These results did not come without some pain behind the scenes.
At that time, the rubbish was dumped into the riverside after cleaning, so the river water was very dirty. For example, we had a big plant in Taipei City at the time called the Damshui Water Pollution Remediation Plan. When one went to see the river, there are dead pigs, dead ducks, and household sewage.
At that time, the Damshui River, the largest river in northern Taiwan, turned out to be nothing more than a smelly sewage ditch. There was also a garbage war in the city. Simple garbage landfills have many disadvantages. For example, in June 2019, a large amount of old garbage was dug up on the north coast of Hualien City. It turned out that the local area was an informal landfill in the early days.
In the beginning, it was done cheaply, and there were no relevant regulations and laws. The previous landfill regulations were not so rigorous, and it was simply very convenient to bury as landfill.
Coveting convenience, Taiwan was once called a garbage island. In the 1980s, the economy took off, but the environmental pollution caused by industrial production was neglected. According to statistics from the Environmental Protection Administration, there are 277 public nuisance disputes from 1988 to 1992. In the early years, many people didn't know what environmental protection was. Many Tzu Chi recycling volunteers and even children became familiar with the mantra of recycling. 30 years ago, Tzu Chi started to promote recycling with popular phrases that many could demonstrate with their hands. Bending down to classify materials, recycling volunteers know that simple action can care for the Earth's environment. Tzu Chi's environmental protection results are presented with data from 1995 to 2019. The total weight of paper recycling is 1,493,696 tons. In addition to paper recycling, other materials including copper, aluminum, iron, and PET bottles which can be recycled and reused, so there is no need to mine more resources from the earth. From 1992 to 2019, the Tzu Chi Foundation calculated that these recyclables were reused and accumulated 2,824,248 tons, which is the equivalent of the amount of carbon dioxide absorbed by 7,261 downforest parks. If converted into trees, it would be the equivalent of the carbon that 235 million trees can absorb in a year.
Each item of recycling has a corresponding conversion rate assigned by the EPA based upon energy saving and carbon reduction. This data can be applied to our current amount of recycling.
The staggering number of resources saved are dependent upon the 30,000 volunteers who continue to do recycling work in Taiwan. The total weight of recycling in 2019 alone is as high as 81,000 tons, which means that on average, one recycling volunteer handles more than 2.4 tons a year.
The average of the data is 2,443 kilograms per year per volunteer, and we convert it to how much it is every day. So in fact, the daily quantity can be astonishing to understand how much garbage each person generates every day.
By quantifying these recycling achievements, many have learned that environmental protection is not something done for fame and profit. Every recycling volunteer is simply buying extra time to slow the rate of environmental destruction for future generations. August 23rd marks the 30th year of Tzu Chi's recycling mission, and to honor this day, the superintendent of Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital brought a group of hospital staff to experience the dedication of recycling volunteers at the Tanzi and Xindian recycling station.
The hospital staff and healthcare workers must get a quick lesson on sorting recyclables before starting the day.
This triangular shape, no matter if it's on a packing for rice or something, when it shows 7, we don't recycle it. This isn't plastic cling wrap. Touch it, you'll feel it's a different material.
Superintendent Jian is listening carefully, but does he have the confidence he can sort the recyclables into the right category?
Sometimes once is not enough. I might have to use the chart to compare and review, so I know where to place the sorted items.
Plastic bag recycling is full of steps which require a lot of time and manpower to do.
With the black printing on this, the plastic bag becomes useless and is sold for only $20 a kilogram. But if we cut it out for discarding and sell the plastic bags after washing, it becomes worth $70 a kilogram.
Waste management is very closely related to our lives, and when it's this important, we should spend some time to consider how to reduce the amount and how best to recycle things.
Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital staff visited Tanzi and Xindian recycling station and got a hands-on experience in sorting and breaking down recyclables.
If you have the opportunity, I highly recommend all the staff members to give this a try.
Recycling is the root of Tzu Chi, and as the healthcare workers safeguard lives, they can also safeguard the planet.
A solitary elder who lives in Kaohsiung is very nostalgic and also hoards items in his home. Tzu Chi volunteers were asked to help him clean his house. After cleaning, the solitary elder was touched and expressed his willingness to be a volunteer to help others.
Opening the door, Tzu Chi volunteers had to step over things to enter Grandpa Chen's house because it was full of debris.
He is a person who is nostalgic, so he keeps everything. But our largest purpose this time is to help him throw away things that he doesn't need, with your help to complete this cleaning task.
The most important thing is to improve his quality of life and help him organize this place so that he can have a comfortable life and can stay here with peace of mind.
Volunteers slowly moved the things out of the house in a relay team, and cockroaches kept crawling around during the cleaning process.
The most difficult thing is to communicate with the elder, that is the client, because there are so many things that he doesn't want to discard.
We try to respect the client as much as possible. Although we help him clear the things in his house, he should miss the things a lot. We will continue to accompany and comfort him.
Seeing that the space in the house suddenly became larger, Grandpa Chen was very moved and proactively said that in the future he also wants to be a volunteer to help others.
During the 7th lunar month, Tzu Chi volunteers held a blessing ceremony in different communities. Let's join volunteers in Zhonghe and Damsui to see how they promote the correct faith and recycling concepts.
To promote correct faith and recycling concepts, Danshui City volunteers have held a blessing ceremony at their retreat.
I watched the videos depicting natural disasters and animals getting hurt and felt ashamed. So, I made a small vow that I will change my habits, starting with myself and my family.
3 years ago, rain led to disaster in Shimen district, and city volunteers reached out to the affected residents. Being grateful for the help, Shimen district leaders has come to the blessing ceremonies every year.
This year, COVID-19 pandemic is very serious. Our government organization is promoting epidemic prevention measures. Meanwhile, Tzu Chi has been encouraging everyone to think positively. The government and NGO should work together to win the battle against the pandemic.
Meanwhile, volunteers have combined Auspicious Month activity at Shuanghe Liaison Office with a course for seniors for a special reason.
Seniors are usually more superstitious. We are afraid that in the 7th lunar month, they will stubborn just paper and use meat offerings in worships. So we want to hold blessing ceremony with them. This way, we can inspire everyone and also transform our spirit.
As volunteers promote cutting down use of plastics, not burning just paper, and embracing vegetarianism, seniors' traditional thoughts have also changed.
In the past, we could not do anything in the 7th lunar month. Now, we can do anything as it is a auspicious month.
In 7th lunar month, the Ghost Gate opens. This is a folk belief. Tzu Chi has taught us that this is a safe month. We have a ceremony and we hope to promote the knowledge about love and kindness. We want to bless all families and people.
Sounding the peace bell, people vow to harbor kind thoughts during the auspicious month and wish everyone safety and good fortune.
In Taiwan, Hualien Jing Si Medical Center held a humanitarian camp for its new staff, teaching participants about the medical mission's core values. They also conducted home visits and visited a recycling station. Delivering diapers and other supplies to bedridden 86-year-old Grandma Lin, the new staff at Hualien Jing Si Medical Center have come to a care recipient's home for the first time.
Going to the patient's home for the first time, I find the experience to be very realistic.
I
will remember the experience, and in the future, I will know how to help them mindfully.
The new medical staff also go to a recycling station for the first time and learn that recycling is not as easy as they imagine.
I think if people washed them before recycling them, it will be more convenient for the recycling volunteers.
Hualien Jing Si Medical Center has held a humanitarian camp for its new staff, attended by nearly 300 people. Tzu Chi Medical Mission CEO also comes to share his experience.
We should help the patients and their families feel fortunate and happy. If you see this as work, you will find it to be a difficult job. However, if you see this as an opportunity to help people, you will feel joyful.
The camp organizer hopes the new medical staff will learn to cherish their own blessings and be compassionate as they practice medicine.
To welcome the 7th lunar month, Indonesian Tzu Chi volunteers from Batam are hosting blessing ceremonies and promoting vegetarianism. One young volunteer also shared her vegetarian story.
The 7th lunar month is a time when Tzu Chi hosts blessing ceremonies to welcome the month of auspiciousness. Tzu Chi Indonesia's Batam Liaison Office is also promoting vegetarianism.
In response to the beginning of the 7th lunar month, we're hosting a training seminar so that volunteers know how to approach members of the public about vegetarianism and the real meanings behind the campaign. We also hope during this time to use the internet to promote our campaigns so more people can join us to keep to a vegetarian diet.
I tried to eat vegetarian food for 30 days in the past. When that happened, I realized I like being a vegetarian and it suits me. So then I decided to continue being a vegetarian.
Iwansari Jocelyn was invited to share her vegetarian journey with a local business during their online conference call, and she successfully got 53 people to join her in adopting a vegetarian diet. With the beginning of the auspicious lunar month, people's hearts are open to vegetarianism and accumulating blessings.
New immigrant Zhang Mingxiong was originally Thai. While he was young, he was troubled because he had no ID. 20 years ago, he came to Taiwan but had a tough time to adapt to local culture. From being Chinese to Thai translator to starting his own restaurant business, he finally held on to success, and now he passes on his cooking skills to newcomers, giving back to society.
For an authentic Thai dish, natural spices and culinary herbs are needed, and these materials are all sorted by Zhang Mingxiong. He had been in Taiwan for almost 20 years, coming here alone from Thailand. He worked here in Kaohsiung on behalf of his family.
It's very tough. When I first started here, I didn't know the place nor people. When I was little, I didn't have an ID. I came here around the age of 19.
The cultural differences had an impact on Zhang Mingxiong. It took the chef 7 years to start his business, and now he's deciding to give back to society.
People who started from building a foundation till success are respectable. Therefore, now I have my own store, so I could try to help others to let them know from my own experience. If they listen, they will grow.
Chef Zhang had a tough journey coming to Taiwan, and if we lived too comfortably, we wouldn't have good experiences to let us reflect on some ideas, which makes you want to move forward in life.
Not being selfish, Zhang Mingxiong wanted to help young people in their journey of acquiring a skill, which makes the future easier for them. Authentic Thai cuisine has led the restaurant to have better business day by day.
It has keen oyster mushrooms, and it is very authentic Thai cuisine.
The journey for me was tough. Not like this happy feeling that I'm happy right now. When I felt down, I didn't have places to go to. I just went to temples to pray.
Unable to share thoughts and being tough with tears, the concepts of society had created tremendous pressure for Chef Zhang Mingxiong.
Especially when new immigrants come to Taiwan, we hope to have some events to let them know more Taiwanese people because they need more help from our society.
From overseas to Taiwan, new immigrants are now seeing an increase in the male category. The Social Affairs Bureau and the related government units have set out plans to help new immigrants from overseas, as love has no boundaries.
The number of confirmed cases in the Philippines is on the rise, with many being asymptomatic. For this reason, the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter is conducting comprehensive screening of all employees and volunteers. We leave you with these images. Goodbye.